Hi, and welcome to show number 13 of the El Travel Talks, a podcast where people share travel stories and adventures. My name is Tony Lloyd, and I'm going to be your host. Each week, I sit down with individuals and we talk about their journeys, who they are, where they're from, and most of all, how are they doing it. First of all, I'd like to thank all the people who've been listening and supporting us so far, and thank you for the comments that you've given us. For the new people, I'd like to encourage you to subscribe so that you get all the updates. Also, please don't forget to take a look at our Facebook page with all the written stories. If you're someone who likes to write, we're still looking for some people to write some more stories. For today's show, we talk about how to set up your own online business, which allows you the freedom to travel. So please get yourself a cup of tea or coffee and enjoy the show.
So my name is Yosuke, and I was born in Japan. When I was 4 years old, I moved to the suburbs of Philadelphia. Yeah, I've been living here since then and traveling for the past year or so.
So we actually met
Yeah.
when you were here a few months ago, earlier this year. And today we're doing this interview with the use of Zoom. Okay. When you were here, we were talking about that you've set up your own online business as a way of travel. Our show today is going to be about how people could work and travel at the same time. So basically, what do you call yourself? Do you call yourself a nomadic businessman? How do you label yourself?
So I guess right now I would consider myself like a digital nomad. It's funny how I first was introduced to traveling in terms of last year, I decided to take a gap year after I graduated from college. And during that gap year, I was actually teaching English in Colombia. And one of the main reasons why I wanted to do this was because I wanted to learn more Spanish. And, I had the travel bug in me. I
Okay.
studied in Spain, fourth year of university. And after that, I was like, I need to do this again. Like, I love traveling. I love the aspect of meeting people from all over the world and just seeing different cultures and trying the different foods. And it was like an adventure every day. So after I had graduated from college, I was like, okay, I need to find a way to continue this. And before I, go out into the real world, I want to take a gap year, make some money teaching English online, just being able to support myself and then kind of reevaluating from there. And then I met up with a friend, like a very good friend of mine growing up. He was neighbors with me. And this was when I went back to Philadelphia and he was telling me a little bit about what he's been up to the past few months. And, he told me he started this online business selling phone chargers. I was like, okay, that's really interesting. And he told me like he made an insane amount of money in a few months. And I was like how is that even possible, right? Because there's like this world of online business, like selling things online
Mhm.
through Facebook ads and Instagram ads that I was completely unaware of. So me personally, when I see an ad on Facebook or Instagram, usually I'm not the type to kind of interact with it. So I just kind of scroll right past it. There are a lot of people who love online shopping, right? They'll see an ad that kind of piques their interest and they'll look at it and they'll, okay, wow, this is a cool product. This is a great, like this problem solver. I need this in my life. And so, some might buy that product and you can make a lot of money selling these things, right?
Basically, as you said, you were teaching English in Colombia and you decided that you want to continue traveling. So
Yeah.
then you thought, okay, by setting up this online business, this will be your gateway or your ticket to travel.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I knew teaching English, there was like a limit to how much I can travel. And also the hours were kind of hard because I had to teach in the morning and it was a very tough kind of schedule. And I wanted to do something that could make more money, that I could, sustain myself in better ways.
Have you worked in a business place?
During college, I had pretty much different plans. I mean, I was going to college, I was studying biology, and I was on the medical school, path. And that's what I thought I wanted to do, go into medicine, become a doctor. But the more I kind of did some like self reflection and some introspection, I've realized, I mean, my ideal lifestyle would be to at least right now travel, be able to travel and see the world and make money online and just kind of having that freedom of not working in an office or not working in a hospital for a few years.
What did your parents and the people around you have to say? Told them you don't want to go to medical school, you want to start traveling and set up an online business.
My parents were a bit worried, I think, definitely. I think if I were in their shoes, I'd be a bit worried, like, hey, like, you were just in college the past 4 years studying, to do this, and now you want to do this, like something completely different, something a lot more riskier, like a lot more risky. I mean, but at the same time, I think they were kind of understanding in that, hey, like, look, this is your life, like you can try things out. And I think overall they were very supportive and I didn't have too much backlash.
Okay, your friend told you about this business and told you about the opportunity to do this. So how did you actually go about setting something like that up so that you could have the freedom to travel?
He sent me a course on YouTube, basically. And if you just search up James Beatty, you can put down the link, James Beatty or Verum Ecom.
Okay.
These are two guys that specialize in e-commerce business and selling things online. The business model is called drop shipping. And so what drop shipping is, basically when someone buys from your store, you directly contact the manufacturer and have the manufacturer send the product to your customer. And so essentially you're acting as a middleman. And so you market the product and then the manufacturer ships it out. So you don't have anything to do with shipping.
You don't have to deal with people saying, oh, my machine didn't come on time or my machine is broken. How does that work?
So if a customer, emails me, I have a customer service agent that helps me out now, but she will basically respond, if the product's broken or a product's damaged, you'll send out another one or do refunds. The shipping itself is handled by the supplier, or in my case, a fulfillment team or third-party logistics, which basically is a warehouse that has shipping capabilities.
Okay. If that product was broken, for example, does that mean that the company that produces the product charges you for that, or how do you get that product back to that company?
If the product is broken, and they'll send me a video of it, then, I don't need further evidence. But if, they don't like the product or something, I'll just have them actually ship it back to my house. I'll just store it there. And then the factory will send out a replacement if it was a faulty product, right? If it's a manufacturer defect, since I am buying like in stock from this manufacturer, they will send out replacements.
Okay.
I can dive in a little deeper on like how exactly I set up my store. I've kind of forgot to, I kind of went all the way into the fulfillment side of things, which is like the very last thing I should get into. Sorry.
So let's go from the start.
So I watched the videos. I immediately set up a website on Shopify. Shopify is one of the largest website building websites, companies. And I set up my store and then I ordered the product off of Amazon. They were selling it on Amazon. And I just filmed a creative, like an advertisement, made my own video, like an ad, and posted it on Facebook and spent money on Facebook ads and Instagram ads. And those ads led to my website, and then which customers can go ahead and buy product.
Okay. What are your 3 top sellers?
Right now, my main product's in the beauty niche, and it's this facial vacuum, and it basically helps to like improve circulation and remove blackheads and acne and oils that are in your pores. And so that's my main product. And played around with a few different products, but one would be this carpentry like ruler, a ruler that would be used for carpenters, kind of measure things, and it had a lot of different like sides and gadgets that you could like quickly measure things. So I tested a bunch of different products, almost 20, maybe around 20 different products until I found one that actually caught on steam and started selling.
Okay, so you're a bestseller. Like, how many of these products are you selling?
On a daily basis, 120 to 200 a day.
200 a day?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, selling a lot, yeah.
The people who are buying these products, are they in any particular part of the world, or are they all over the world?
Originally, before COVID-19, I was marketing this product throughout the world, but due to shipping restrictions and shipping delays, I've just focused on the United States for now. Right now, my main target demographic is 18 to 34-year-olds in the US.
So when basically people could go on the video and the video will explain to them how they do this. So how do you design your day when you're traveling?
Yeah, this is one of the things that is probably the toughest when you're on the road. So what I do is I have a journal and every day I write 3 or 4 things that I need to complete that day. They're basically mini goals, mini tasks that need to be done. And that helps me kind of be really organized. I like to work in cafes, somewhere a little bit quiet, but, still has some noise. I can drink some coffee. Go there usually in the mornings, maybe from 9 or 10, work a few hours, my day to day is basically me managing ads. And so I spend a decent bit of money on Facebook ads and Instagram ads and a little bit of Google ads. And so what I do is every day I make sure that the money that I'm spending on the ads is bringing me, a profitable return on ad spend, and just kind of playing around with that and turning things off if they're not working, and trying to optimize my website for conversions, looking at different like analytics.
Do you have yourself set up to work certain days of the week? And how do you see the sites and, participate in all the activities, going out drinking and all those sort of, how do you balance that part?
I don't work every day. I would say I do look at my ads every day.
Mhm.
So I guess technically that could be considered work, but yeah, I'll just log in and see if my ads are profitable. And if not, I'll turn them off. But usually during my travels, I would probably put in like 2 hours, 3 hours a day. And then weekends, not really put in too much time. The great thing about my business is it's pretty much automated in the sense that I have a customer service representative who handles all the emails and customer inquiries. And then I have a fulfillment team in China who gets the orders off of my website. So on Shopify, they'll see that like John Smith from Oregon ordered this product. And then my fulfillment center in China will see that and directly send it, so that I don't really have to do that. And so for me, it's more so like optimizing, creating new ads, things like that on a
And
day-to-day basis.
and I'm assuming these are all third-party companies that you link into. You didn't go and set
Yes.
up this team in China by yourself.
No, no, absolutely not. This is a fulfillment team that I'm partnering with, right? They are a third-party logistics. I'm sure they have, hundreds of other like customers like me who have these stores, and they'll send out products from their warehouse.
Okay. And the fulfillment team, that's also explained in the video?
Fulfillment team. So in the beginning, so I kind of, because like the fulfillment team was like after I like started getting a lot of sales. In the beginning, how I fulfilled orders was someone would buy a product off of my website, and then what I would do is go on aliexpress.com and buy the product on AliExpress, which is like a massive online retailer in China. Buy that product and then put in my customer's address, and then have AliExpress ship product to my customers. And
Okay.
that's how I first started. And then once I found a product that was working really well, which was the facial vacuum blackhead remover, that's when I started using a third party logistics fulfillment team in China. And then I would buy 1,000 units at a time, and then have them placed in the warehouse so that they could ship it quickly.
Tell us about when you thought, okay, this could really work and I could really travel that way.
So before I get into that part, I guess I want to talk about like the struggle, because I mean, it was 100%. Any business takes a lot of commitment, and you're not going to see profits immediately.
Okay.
And so for me, I remember in the beginning, I had maybe $3,000, $4,000 to my name, and kind of starting out this business. I went through that summer testing new products, and a lot of which of my costs were Facebook ads, which are extremely expensive.
Yeah.
And so I tested, maybe 10, 15 products until I found my winner. And I ended up probably losing during that time, $3,000, $4,000. And then maybe around the 6-month mark, I, found this product, and, it started working. It started selling really well. And I thought to myself, like, wait, like this is going really well. And I started seeing days, I remember I hit my first like $1,000 day in sales, and I'm like, whoa, like that's awesome. Like I can keep this up, and then I just continued to kind of scale and seeing bigger numbers daily. And yeah, it was extremely exciting. Yeah, it took a lot of time and kind of even doubts at certain points. I remember I was working 2 jobs so that I can kind of support myself and also have money to invest into my business. So I remember I was teaching English online at like 6 a.m. until like 9. And then at night I'd go out and serve tables at a restaurant. And then meanwhile, during the day, I would be really committed and using that time to, continue with my e-commerce journey and kind of investing in my e-commerce business.
Do you remember a particular moment where you're like, okay, this is not going to work. I should just go back home and go back to medical school?
To be honest with you, there were times where I had like a little bit of doubt, but at the same time, like I was so committed and there was no going back. To me, it was like, I'm going to make this work, and I'm going to make this work. There was no other option. And so I just like put my head down and just kept on going. And I think it really helped that I had a mentor, my neighbor growing up, who had immense success. He was a childhood friend of mine. He was 1 year older than me, and, he did it. So why can't I,
Okay.
And he was right there to kind of help me with any questions along the way, just kind of guiding me if I had any questions. And I knew that just having someone like him be kind of like an inspiration, helped me kind of push myself and think, okay, I can do this as well.
What have been some of the struggles that you've had on the road while you're trying to do the business at the same time?
For most of the places that I would go to, I made sure that I stayed in hostels and in kind of cities and places that had Wi-Fi. And so I didn't have a problem with Wi-Fi connections or anything. But one thing I will say is when you're traveling and working at the same time, it's harder to maintain like a daily schedule and be extremely laser focused compared to right now. Let's say I'm back home, actually at my parents' house right now during this coronavirus. I only have time on my hands. So I'm just sitting on my computer and I can just focus a lot better. That's one aspect that I kind of missed. And it's harder to do when traveling.
As you said, you're at home now and it's much easier to focus and to concentrate. Why do it?
Okay.
Why travel and work at the same time when you can sit at home and you're focused?
Traveling is you gain a sense of freedom, to be able to go out and see parts of the world that you've never seen before and meet people who live there, the locals, and interact with them and see the way that they live. To me, that's what life's about. And I just love that kind of interaction that I have with people, and to be able to travel while making money to support yourself. At least for me, that was the goal. And that's why I love it so much.
Okay. You'd mentioned a few minutes ago about that moment when you went like, wow, I can make $1,000 a day doing this. Has there been another wow moment, maybe in the combination of working as a nomad and traveling at the same time? Or can you tell us about one of those moments?
This was in Tulum, Mexico. And I remember waking up at like 9 a.m. and just checking my phone because I get notifications from Shopify whenever I get sales. And I had just, I just had a long sleep. Like I woke up, turned my phone on, and I had maybe like 60 orders or so or something like that. Yeah, so you wake up and you're just like, I just made $800 in profit in while I was sleeping, right? And you just you're like, geez, is this real life? Like it doesn't seem real. And I remember, it's kind of like you're feeling like you're kind of on cloud nine, I guess. At that point, you're just like, wow, like I can really just continue doing this and traveling at the same time. It's
okay.
No, yeah, that was probably one.
That would definitely be a wow moment for me. Travel plans you have for after Corona, or have you given up your travel dreams?
Never. I think traveling is definitely on my mind. So this year, I will most likely stay in the US, but starting 2021, my plan is to kind of finish my trip in South America. So finish seeing Peru, Machu Picchu, and Bolivia, Brazil, and Argentina. And then my plan is to go to Southeast Asia and do all of those countries and eventually settle in Japan for a year.
Okay. But we might see you back in Ecuador?
Overall, I thought it was a beautiful country. There are a lot of mountains that I want to climb, like Cotopaxi. And so I think in the near future, sometime I'll be back.
The last question I have for you, all this experience that you've had between your online business and traveling as a nomad in that sense, what would you say, maybe one or two key things that you've learned that you'd like to share with others?
A lot of people are risk averse. They might be scared to kind of take that risk or take that leap of faith. And, for me personally, I think if you take calculated risks, things will turn out fine. If you look at, your risk versus reward and your pros and cons of taking this action or not taking this action, you can kind of figure out like, okay, I should do this because if this succeeds or, if I go travel and do this, there's going to be all this whole new world that opens up, right? And for me, that was starting my online business, making money and being able to travel and have kind of that freedom that a lot of people don't have. And so I would say, don't be scared to take risks because there's no rewards without taking risks.
Okay, thank you for taking the time to talk with me. Definitely be of help to some people that might be listening to us of how they could then, when things get back to normal and we were back on the road traveling, how they could set up their lives as a travel nomads also.
All right. Thank you so much for having me, Tony. I appreciate it.
Thank you for listening in and hope you enjoyed today's show. Please take a look at our podcast notes for the links to the videos if you too would like to set up your own online business. A reminder to everyone that if you have not already done so, to subscribe so you get updates for our future show. Take a look also at our Facebook page with the written stories, and if you'd like to write, we're still looking for people to write some more stories. Any comments, observations, feedbacks that you'd like to send, please send an email to elcafecitotraveltalks@gmail.com. Shout out for Marshall, our editor. Hope to see you here sometime soon in the El Cafecito in Cuenca, Ecuador. Bye for now, and please stay safe.